indicate, find the indicated composition. So I've got to find F composition G of 1. So F composition G of 1 equals F of G of 1. So I got to work my way inside out. So the first thing I got to do is find G of 1. So G of 1 is equal to, so I go to the G function. I'll get 1 for x, 19 times 1 minus 2. 19 times 1 is 19. 19 minus 2 is 17. So then I'm going to replace G of 1 with what it's equal to, which is 17. So now I'm going to go to the F function and plug in 17 for x. So F of 17 is equal to 18 times 17 squared minus 9 times 17. So I can type this in my calculator. So I've got 18 times 17 squared minus 9 times 17. I got 5,049. So this one is A. Okay, number 2, find the function that's graphed after the following transformations order listed. All right, I'm going to go through the transformation rules real quick. So if I have f of x plus h, that shifts the graph left. F of x minus h, that shifts the graph right. When you subtract from the x, shifts it right. F of x plus k shifts the graph up. Okay. F of x minus k, that shifts the graph down. So whenever you subtract from the whole thing, when you add to the whole thing, it shifts it up. When you subtract the whole thing, it shifts the graph down. Negative f of x, that's a vertical flip, and that's across the x-axis, so a vertical flip across the x-axis. And then f of negative x is a horizontal flip, and that's across the y-axis. All right, a couple more that I've got to include as well. If I have a times f of x, that's if I'm multiplying the whole thing, that's a vertical stretch / compression. And if I multiply the x, that's a horizontal stretch / compression. Okay, so these are my transformation rules. So it shifted up 7. So up 7 means I'm going to add 7 to the end. So you add 7 to the end. Reflected about the x-axis. So that'd be a vertical flip. So you put a negative in front. And then shifted left 8, that means you add 8 to the x. So add 8 to x. So you're going to get f of y equals negative in front because of the vertical flip. X, add 8 to the x, so for the shift left, and then add 7 to the end. Negative 8 x plus 7, that one's C. Okay. So number 3, the graph shows the percentage of students enrolled in the College of Engineering State University. The graph represents the function f. Find f of 1970. So f of 1970, this means when x equals 1970, what is y? So that's what I'm asking here. So when x equals 1970, what is y? Y, it's around 8%, or 9%, I'm sorry. Around 9%, so that one's D. So around 9%, so that one's D. Okay. Number 4, a function is depicted on the graph on the input values that produce f of x equals 2. So f of x equals 2 means this is when the whole thing equals 2. When y equals 2, what is x? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a horizontal line at y equals 2 and find the x values at the points. I'll put points when the line intersects the graph. Okay, so I'm going to draw a horizontal line at y equals 2. So I'm going to find the x point. So I've got 1 there, so I got negative 4. I got intersecting there, so it's at negative 2. So it'd be negative 2 and negative 4. So negative 4 and negative 2. So that would be A. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Solve it by the method of your choice. So you've got some options here. So you got to make it, want to make it equal 0. It looks like it's factorable. You could do this by factoring. So I'm going to rewrite this. It's plus 9. I'm going to do quadratic formula just to show you, just in case you have a subtract 9. So 4x squared minus 5x minus 9 equals 0. And so A equals 4, B equals negative 5, C equals negative 9. So I'm going to use quadratic formula. So negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So x equals negative times negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times negative 9 all over 2 times 4. Now I'm going to simplify everything around the plus or minus. Negative times negative 5 would be 5. 2 times 4 is 8. So now I'm going to simplify what's underneath the square root. That's called the discriminant. So negative 5 squared minus 4 times negative 9. That's 169. The square root of 169 is 13. So I'm left with 5 plus or minus 13 divided by 8. So this will be 5 plus 13 divided by 8. 5 minus 13 divided by 8. 5 plus 13. 5 plus 13 is 18. So this is 18. So this would be 8. I'm going to write this over here. This would be 18 divided by 8, which is, they both have a common factor of 2. So that would be 9/4. Okay. And then on this one, this would be negative 8 divided by 8, which is negative 1. So 9/4 and negative 1. Okay, so that's C. Number 6, a flat rectangular piece of aluminum has a perimeter of 54 inches. The length is 7 inches longer than the width. Find the width. So the perimeter, remember, is 2L plus 2W. Okay, and the length is 7 inches longer than the width. So length is L equals W plus 7. Okay, so what you want to do here is you want to get this in terms of, you got two equations with two variables, and the perimeter is 54. So what you want to do is you want to get this in terms of one variable here. So I'm going to do substitution. So L equals this. I'm going to plug this in for L. So I've got 54 equals 2 times W plus 7 plus 2W. Okay, I'll write this over here. 54 equals 2W plus 14 plus 2W. Subtract 14, 40, and add those together, it'd be 4W. Divide by 4, divide by 4. W equals 10. So W equals 10, that's D. Okay. Number 7, use the addition method. So what I would do here is equals 12, 6x plus 6y equals 0. So I'm going to multiply. I want to make these additive inverses. I'm going to multiply x to make it 6x, but I'm going to multiply by negative 6. Okay, by multiplying by negative 6, it makes these additive inverses where I can add. So negative 6x minus 42y equals negative 12, so it'd be negative 72. Okay, so then, 72, sorry about that. Negative 72, and then I've got 6x plus 6y is equal to 0. Now I'm going to add. So when I add, that cancels. Negative 42 plus 6 is negative 36. Negative 72 plus 0 is negative 72. Divide by negative 36. Divide by negative 36. Negative 72 divided by negative 36 is 2, so y equals 2. Now I've got to find x. I'm going to plug it into one of the original equations. I'll use the top original. So I'm going to go plug it into x plus 7 times 2 equals 12. So x plus 14 equals 12. Subtract 14, x equals negative 2. And so my solution is going to be negative 2, comma 2. So that one is C. Okay, 8, solve the equation, and so this is an exponential here, the base e. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to divide by 7. I want to get the e part by itself, divide by 7. So e to the 4x is equal to 2,821 divided by 7, which is 403. Now, how do I undo an e? I take the ln of both sides, so it'll be 4x. Whoops. Goodness gracious. Get together here. 4x ln of e equals ln of 403. I'm not typing anything into my calculator right now because they're gonna want it in that form. Ln e cancel, so I'll divide by 4, x equals ln of 403 divided by 4. So ln of 403 divided by 4, that one's B. That's gonna answer there. Okay. Look at number 9. Determine the domain and range. Okay. So domain deals with x. And you ask yourself, how far left? How far right? Range deals with y. And you ask yourselves, how far down? How far up? So the domain. How far left does it go? It goes to negative 8. It's got to be negative 8 because it's closed. Okay. How far right does it go? It goes to 7, and 7's parentheses. Okay. This one has an open circle. This one at negative 8 has a closed circle. Okay. So negative 8 to 7, so I'm down to C or D. Range. How far down? It goes down to negative 7. How far up does it go? It goes to 8. Okay, and they're both, this and this, they're both closed circles, so they're included. So in that one, this is going to be C. Okay, so 9 is C. 10, identify the intervals where the function's decreasing. So decreasing, and what you do is it's in terms of x. X, you want to trace it, trace the function left to right. Okay, so this will help you out. And whenever I'm going down, so it's decreasing here. Actually, it looks like it's only got one decreasing interval. So as I'm doing it, it's decreasing here to here. So from negative 3 to negative 2. And so it'd be from negative 3 to negative 2 there. So that's B. Okay, not a lot to that one. All right, 11, solve the linear equation. So you got a variety of ways you could do this. One thing you could do is you could get a common denominator in all of these. And so what's a common denominator I want to make them all? I make it give a common denominator of 12. So I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to write this out here. This would be easier. And I'm going to leave some space in between. X divided by 12 minus 7/6. So 3/2. So what does that one need to look like? 12, 2 times 6, whatever I do the bottom, I got to do the top. What does this one need to be? 12. It needs 12, but it needs 12 on top. This one already has 12. 6 times what gives you 12? 2, so you got to do that to the top. So 3x times 6 is 18x divided by 12 minus 12x, or divided by 12, equals x divided by 12 minus 14 divided by 12. But now you can combine these because they got a common denominator. Equals x minus 14 divided by 12. and then these can cancel. So 18x minus 12x is 6x equals x minus 14. Okay, subtract x, 5x equals negative 14. Okay, divide by 5, x equals negative 14 fifths. That's my answer there, so that was A. 12. It's all contained here. Okay, good. Suppose the yearly salary of an individual whose final degree is a master's is 42,000 less than twice that of an individual whose final degree is a bachelor's. So combine the two people make educational attainments make 117,000. Find the average yearly salary of each individual with these combined degrees. So I'm going to do number 12. I'm going to have to do it up here. Okay, so number 12. So the master's is equal to 42,000 less than twice that of a bachelor. So 2b minus 42. And combined, they make a bachelor's plus a master's. Combined, they make 117,000. So I've got to find the yearly salary of the 2 degrees. So what I could do, kind of like I did earlier, I've got a system of equations. The master's equals this, so I can plug this in for m. So I got 2 equations with 2 variables. I got to get down to 1 equation with 1 variable. So b plus 2b minus 42 equals 117. So I can add 42, 117 plus 42, 159. So it'd be 3b equals 159. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3, you get 53. So the bachelor's is 53,000. Okay. So bachelor's 53,000. Then for the master's, you're going to do 2 times 53 minus 42. So 2 times 53. That gives you 64. So 64,000 for the master's. Okay, so that's number 12. All right. So that one goes there. Let's look at 13. Solve the equation, absolute value equation, and indicate if it has no solution. So the first thing you want to do here is get the absolute value bars by themselves. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add 6. So the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 2. Now I'm going to write 2 separate equations. So I've got the absolute value, or x minus 2 equals 2. X minus 2 equals negative 2 because there's 2 spots on the number line that you're 2 spots away from 0. 2 and negative 2. To me, 2 is going on here. Add 2, x equals 4. Add 2, x equals 0. So it's going to be 0 and 4. So that's going to be A. 14, find k minus 1 when f of x equals 3x squared plus 4x plus 5. So f of k minus 1, anytime I see x in this function, I'm going to plug in k minus 1. So 3 times k minus 1 squared plus 4 times k minus 1 plus 5. Okay, so I'm going to break this down. K minus 1 squared is going to be a little bit of a pain because it's going to be k minus 1 times k minus 1. Okay, so it's going to be k squared minus 1k minus 1k plus 1. So it'd be k squared minus 2k plus 1. And that's all multiplied by 3. Running out of room here. So it's going to be 3k squared minus 6k plus 3, okay? Now, I'm actually going to write this over here. I'm going to give myself a little bit of room. It's 3k squared minus 6k plus 1. This you distribute, so it'd be 4k minus 4. So plus 4k minus 4. Be careful, if that's a negative there, you need to distribute negative. Plus 5. So now I'm going to combine like terms. There's nothing to go with k squared, so 3k squared. You're down $6, and then you get $4 back, so now you're down $2. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 5 is, negative 3 plus 5 is 2. I forgot to distribute the 3 here. I apologize. Forgot to distribute the 3. So 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 plus 5 is 3. Or 4. I apologize there. So this is going to be B. Okay. 15, given the functions f of x and g of x, find f minus g. So f minus g, that's f of x minus g of x. So I'm going to have x minus 4 minus 8 minus x squared. Now, I don't like subtracting. I like adding the opposite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this, but I'm going to change that sign and change that sign. Okay, so I'm going to add the opposite. So I can make that a plus, but I got to change that sign and change that sign. And this allows me to get less confused with the signs. Now I'm going to go highest power. So highest power is x squared, and it's just positive. X doesn't have anything to add to that. It's positive. Negative 4 plus negative 8 would be minus 12. And so this one would be A. It's a little tricky. Okay, kind of sneaky tricky there. Okay, 16. Which one of the following doesn't have a function from domain? So you're looking for excluded values. So excluded values and just some things we can't have. Okay, some things you can't have. You can't have 0 in the denominator. And you can't have a negative, a negative in a square root. So you can't have a negative in a square root. All right, so these are your red flags. So, like right here, we've got a red flag. A cube root's fine. Cube root, this is fine. Okay, you can have a negative in a cube root. Okay, and you don't have anything on the bottom here, so this one's good, and then this one's good. But this one, this can't be negative. Okay, that can't be negative. Can't be negative, so it won't have a. So domain won't be negative infinity to positive infinity. So that's a problem there because there are values of x that could make that negative and then make that to where you couldn't have that, okay? For the given functions of f and g, find f divided by g and state the function. So f divided by g is equal to f of x divided by g of x. That's going to be 2x plus 5 divided by 5x minus 4. And going back to the last problem, so this is the answer. Let's just stop there for a moment. And then 2x plus 5, 5x minus 4. The bottom cannot be 0. So the bottom cannot equal 0. So I'm going to find out what makes it equal 0. So that bottom cannot equal 0. So I'm going to make a equation there, add 4. So 5x cannot equal 4. Divide by 5, divide by 5. X cannot be 4/5. So I'm looking for this one right here. So it's one of these two, and it can't be 4/5, so it's A. Okay. 18, solve the equation. So this one's not too bad. I have the cube root of 5x plus 4 equals negative 2. So how do I solve a cube root? I cube both sides. So 5x plus 4 equals 2. Negative 2 cubed would be negative 8. Now subtract 4. 5x equals negative 12. Divide by 5, divide by 5. X equals negative 12/5. So that one's C. All right, number 19. The Family Fine Arts Center charges $25 per adult, $13 for senior citizens for its performances. On a recent weekend evening, when 500 people, 10 people paid for admission, the total receipts were $8,262. How many paid for senior citizens? So we're going to have to make two equations. Okay, so let's define variables first. So let X be the number of adult tickets sold, and Y be the number of senior citizen tickets sold. So a couple of equations. One, $25 per adult, so 25x plus 13 for y equals your dollar amount, 8,262. And then we also have a number of people that paid 510. So X number of adult tickets plus the number of senior citizen tickets is 510. So now you could do elimination here, or you could do substitution, whatever way you want to do it. And so how many paid for senior citizens? So I'm going to solve for, I'm actually going to solve for X here. I'll do this. I'm going to solve for X. Okay. So X equals 510 minus Y. And I'm going to plug this in for X in this top equation. So 25 times 510 minus Y plus 13Y is equal to 8,262. 25 times 510, 12,750 minus 25Y plus 13Y equals 8,262. I can subtract 12,750. And I can combine these two. Negative 25 plus 13, that's negative 12. So negative 12y is equal to 8,262 minus 12,750. Negative 4,488 divided by negative 12 divided by negative 12. Y equals, so divide this by negative 12, 374. So 374 is the number of senior citizens. So that's my answer. This is senior citizen tickets. Okay, because that's what Y was. That's why we wanted to find the variables. It helps us out. Okay. Number 20, write an augmented matrix. So to do an augmented matrix, what you're going to do is you're going to write down the coefficients. So you're going to write down the coefficients for each variable and the constants. So if I do that, my first one's 3, that's 0 there, the 0y, so 3, 0, 9, okay? And then, oh, I need to make this equal 0 first. I almost got out of it. I'm not used to it being set up like this. So I need to make this equal 0 first. So make equations, move the constants to the right. So you want to move the constants in each equation to the right. Okay, so I just haven't seen one like this. So 3x plus 9z minus 3 equals 0. Add 3. So you got 3x. I'm going to leave some space here. Plus 9z. Not 9y. Plus 9z equals 3. Next one, I got 6y plus 3z minus 42 equals 0. So add 42. 6y plus 3z equals 42. So now the y's are in the second column, so I'm going to put a y there. Z's are in the third column, and then 42. And then finally, I've got negative 2x plus 7y plus 7z minus 28 equals 0. So I'm going to add 28. So negative 2x plus 7y plus 7z. So negative 2x plus 7y plus 7z equals 28. Now I'm going to write an augmented matrix from this using the coefficients. So my top one, I've got 3, 0, 9, and then my solution is, the constant is 3. 0x on the next one, 6, 3, and then 42. Negative 2, 7, and 28. So this will give me my solution. 309, 342, 28, and then it looks like it's going to be C. Okay, 21, graph the inequality. So I've got 3x plus 4y is less than or equal to 12. So I'm going to use the intercept method. Okay, well, is this going to help me? Yeah, so that I find the x-intercept, make y equal 0. So 3x plus 4 times 0 is equal to 12. That goes away. Now I can divide by 3. Divide by 3. So the x-intercept is equal to 4. So I'm going to start graphing this. The x-intercept is equal to 4. Now to find the y-intercept, you make x equal 0. So 3 times 0 plus 4y equals 12. Divide by 4, divide by 4. The y-intercept is equal to 3. 2, 3. Now it's going to be solid because of the equal to. Okay, so I'm going to connect those dots here, and I'm going to pick a point to plug in. So I'm going to pick a point to plug in here. Let me go connect those. So I'm going to pick a point not on the graph. I'm going to pick 0, 0. So I'm going to pick 0, 0. So it's 3 times 0 plus 4 times 0. Is that less than or equal to 12? Is 0 less than or equal to 12? That's true. So I'm going to shade towards 0, 0. So which graph does this? It looks like C. Okay. I got a little scared there when the other ones didn't have both the intercepts done, but it's 21C. It's got an x-intercept there for y-intercept of 3. Okay. Look at 22. So 22, first write the variables that make the denominator equal 0, then solve the equation. So what makes the denominators equal 0? So here and here, x equals 0, 2x equals 0, so divide by 2, x equals 0, so that would be, so it'd be 0 makes the denominator equal zeros, okay? Now we're going to go solve it. So 1 divided by x plus 4 equals 3 divided by 2x, and then plus 11 fifths. So I need a denominator, so I need a greatest common denominator. I'm going to pick 10x. So I'm going to make the denominators equal 10x. So x times what gives you 10x? 10. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom here by 10. This one doesn't have anything, so I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 10x. This one needs 5. This one needs 2x. So 5 times 2x gives me 10x. So I'm left with 10 divided by 10x plus 40x divided by 10x plus 15 divided by 10x plus 22x divided by 10x. So 10 plus 40x, they got a common denominator, so I can combine them. 15 plus 22x. Now the denominators are the same, so I can cancel. So I'll write this up here. So 10 plus 40x equals 15 plus 22x. I'm going to move the x's to the left, so subtract 22x. So we get 18x, and I'm going to subtract 10 equals 5. And so divide by 18, so x equals 5/18. So the denominator can't be 0, and then it's 5/18, that one's D. Okay, next one, solve on this one. So what I would do is I would cross multiply on this one. All right, so cross multiply, so x plus 3 divided by x equals 10 divided by 4. So I would just cross multiply, so there and there. So this gives you 4 times x plus 3 equals 10x. And then 4 times x plus 3 would be 4x plus 12 equals 10x. So subtract 4x, 12 equals 6x. Divide by 6, x equals 2. And make Make sure that's not excluded. That's not, so that's D. Now, on this 24, I had kind of a misprint. You're wanting to solve this for x. It's down there, but it didn't show up the way I wanted. So I'm going to solve this for x. So r divided by x plus r divided by y equals 1. So I'm going to make the denominators be x, y. So I'm going to make the denominators be x, y. So what does this first one need to be x, y? It needs a y. So whatever I do at the bottom, I got to do the top. What does this one need? It needs an x. Okay, and then this one needs an x and a y. Okay, so y times r divided by, or I'm going to do them in alphabetical order. Anytime I have two letter times a letter, I want to do them in alphabetical order. So ry divided by xy plus rx divided by xy is equal to xy divided by xy. So this becomes ry plus rx divided by xy equals xy divided by xy. Now, those cancel. So now I'm going to come over here. ry plus rx equals xy. Now I want to get the x's. I want to get the x's on the same side of the equal sign. Okay, so I'm going to move this x over here. So I'm going to subtract rx. So ry is equal to xy minus rx, and so I've got to factor out x. So ry equals x times y minus r. So I factor out x, and then now x is in one spot, so now I can divide by y minus r. Oops, y minus r. So x equals r times y, or yr. They have it as yr. And then y minus r. Doesn't matter on that. So yr, and then y minus r. That one is B. Okay. Last one for part 1 of this video. 25, determine the symmetry of any of the following graphs. So the symmetry, so if I were to go draw a line, so y-axis, okay, see if I drew a line along the y-axis here, that it cuts in half. The y-axis, it's symmetric. Okay, the x-axis is not. So the x-axis, it would be not symmetric. Because if I drew it, if I cut it at the x-axis, it's not going to be splitting it in half to where it's a mirror image of each other. And then the origin, it's not symmetric either. So this one's only going to have y-axis symmetry, so that one is C. Because if you cut it at the y-axis there, it basically splits in half. It's a mirror image of each other. There's part 1.